We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here for you to discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who are tuning in also for the very first time, and for all of our listeners and viewers, I just want to say thank you for your continued support and your commitment by giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life Delaware. And those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution page of our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com. We thank you for that support and for your continued commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted. There are times when we have a scheduling conflict, so we will not be on the air, but we are here Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So as everyone can see, I am in golf attire today because we are in the week where we begin announcing our golf sponsors for both our Achievers Academy golf tournament and for our Achievers Academy our Achievers Golf Academy. So I want to just say, when you see me from May until the beginning of September dressed in golf attire, you understand why. This is just because we have support from sponsors, and this is part of our acknowledging our sponsors here on the air in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to begin by saying this to all of our listeners and viewers. Also, I want everyone to be prepared. We have seen a significant increase in viewership after going Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and in addition to our app and our website. But I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we're about to launch in the coming weeks. I say the coming weeks, hopefully everything will be done by then, but certainly over the next month, we'll be launching on radiofreenetwork.com. So you're going to see expansion of our platforms. You're also going to see interviews in the coming fall where our students from our Achievers Academy will be able to do some interviews. I'll be doing some interviews. So just continue to encourage your family, friends, and coworkers and colleagues to tune in 3D so that everyone can improve their quality of life. That's really what we're all about, is making certain that everyone has new life and a better quality of life. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been notified that you said we, meaning yourself and your colleagues, that you will be returning to the office. However, you indicated that you are more interested, in working from home and not returning to the office. And you want to know, how do you make this adjustment returning to the office? So let me begin by saying this. Very interesting response. And that is, I read a lot. So I was reading an article that was written, and one of the things that the C-suite is concerned about with people working from home is that management has identified the people who want to work from home, who desire working from home. I'm not talking about those who are working from home because that's what the company decided to do. People who desire to work from home, they found, are not as engaged professionally as they would like them to be. Which implies that when promotions come, you'll be passed for promotions. That the C-suite doesn't feel that you're giving 100% of the time. And so therefore, once again, when promotions are handed out, you're going to be passed. And part of that is the old adage, out of sight, out of mind. I know we think it's great working from home. I've been working from home. It has its advantages, certainly. But now that your company's decided to go back to the office, you've got to make that adjustment. And it can't be for you that you are more enthusiastic about working from home than you are working in the office. So let me tell you what that looks like. Working from home was a new experience for you. Now, initially, for all of us, during the time that we were shut down, from March of last year until June of last year, when much of the country was shut down there were certainly restrictions. And people were excited about working from home. And so for a period of time, there appeared to be about a 30% increase in production from people working from home. But it was because it was new. It was, you really, that's less than being shut down for, think about this. That's less than being shut down for 2 quarters of the year. So being shut down from March until June meant essentially that there was about 3 months of the year that they had an opportunity to see an increase in production from employees because, and this is kind of how I broke it out as I was reading the article in my mind, they said 30%. So you're talking about a 10% increase for each month that we were shut down. March to April, April to May, May to June. So, of last year. So there was a 30% increase. You got a 10% increase of productivity, average 10%. Because some months it may have been different one month than it was another. The first month was probably a little higher. The second month it was probably just a little lower, and then the third month it probably began to plateau, and so we saw a 30% increase. I just wanted to break that down in that form so that we understand what really took place. But over time, when people began to work from home consistently, it was no longer a new experience. Now it became, I've moved everything into my home. There's no separation between work and home. There's no boundaries. And what happened is that the productivity started to decline. And then we get to a place where it's now May of the following year, and we've lived through this pandemic, we've worked through this pandemic, and for many people, they have survived this pandemic professionally, but they have not been thriving. And now you're being told you're going to be working from home permanently. Pardon me, you're going to be returning to the office, you're not going to be working from home permanently. So the adjustment you're going to have to make now is, I'm going back into the professional environment from which I came. This is not new to you. You're going back, you're returning to the professional environment, which means that you're capable and competent to function in that environment. What your goal should be moving forward is, I'm going to improve the work environment that I had before the pandemic started, because there's going to be a new footprint, there's going to be a whole change in the environment just for safety protocol, for safety reasons, to ensure that we don't contaminate one another. There's going to be some changes made. So your work environment may look a little different, but your business responsibilities are not going to look any different. So you'll still be able to function, but the question will be, will you perform at the highest level? And now you're going to have to make that adjustment mentally to say, now that I'm returning to the office, I want to ensure that I get the best possible opportunity to be successful and to maximize my success. So we have to realize that adjustments are just that. They're just making adjustments that are necessary for us to be successful, to maximize our success. And the only way to do that is to perform at a higher level. So you're going to have to make a decision now, because you've already been told that you're going to be returning to the office June 1st. Now, that's a pretty rapid turnaround, considering, restrictions are just being lifted and we're returning to a semblance of normalcy. So one of the things that you aren't aware of yet, that they haven't informed you, is that they're going to be bringing you all back. Some of you are going to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the office. Some are going to work Tuesday and Thursday one week, and then the following week it's going to be reversed. The people who work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will work Tuesday, Thursday, and the people who work Tuesday, Thursday will work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You're going to be doing that until they resolve what they want to resolve with the design footprint. How they want to position everyone. Where do they want you to be? They're going to make certain that they get the best possible return on the investment of your time. And so I'm going to encourage you to take the mindset that you're returning with the intent to perform at the highest possible level, that you're going to perform at the highest possible level. And with that, your goal is to really accomplish the measurables that the company has put in place. We're just returning to what was originally normal for us. That's what you're doing. And for all of our listeners and viewers, let's be clear about something. Let's be clear that we have been through an experience of a lifetime, and hopefully we'll never endure that experience again. It'll be another 100 years before this occurs again, and because history does tend to repeat itself. So it's possible that it will occur again, but hopefully not in our lifetime. Having said that, let's not only go back to what we were doing prior to the pandemic, let's go back with a renewed spirit, a renewed mind, a spirit of excellence. Let's return with the intent to perform at the highest possible level so that we can maximize the quality of our lives, so that we can maximize our success and experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can experience T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are ready to get back to life. You're ready to get life back to a normal place. That's what you said in your communication. And you want to know, how do you do that after this year of life-changing events? So, pardon me. We're live right here in 3D, so unfortunately you will hear those noises if I have to clear my throat, and my sinuses, my allergies are bothering me today, so just bear with me if you will. So I want to say this. We've been seeing a theme, obviously, of communications about coming out of this pandemic experience. We must realize the circumstances were only temporary. One of the things that you've often heard me talk about during this pandemic, prior to coming out of this period of time, one of the things that I've often said is that we didn't want to just survive the pandemic. We wanted to thrive during the pandemic. We wanted to continue to thrive. This was only temporary. Start where you left off with a new frame of mind. So I told you, we've been seeing a theme of questions about the pandemic and questions about coming out of this, and how are we going to make this adjustment? The reality is that there is a place in your life that you left off during the pandemic. You can start right there. It's that simple. However, because I've been encouraging people to thrive during the pandemic, you should be at a place of progress. And what you really want to do is work from that place of progress. You don't go back to where you were, but you know where you were, and you know where you left off. So if you've left some things behind, you need to bring them back to the point of progress. We're all at a point, we should be at a point of progress where we have thrived during the pandemic, and now that we're coming out, we need to look at the place of progress that we have achieved and push forward, launch forward, move forward at a pace, and this is going to take me to another communication, so I'm going to walk this carefully, a pace that is sustainable for you. Find the momentum. So yesterday, my son reached out to me yesterday, and we were communicating by text for a moment. And one of the things that we talked about is we're at a place where we found that moment of God's favor. So, he reached out, and I realized sometimes I use the same type of analogies, but I said to him, now that we found the moment of God's favor in this week, let's continue that momentum. So in other words, what I'm saying to all of our listeners and viewers, don't stop where you were before the pandemic. Don't even stop at the point of progress that you've made. Now it's time to continue that momentum as we move forward. We still have the remainder of this year to continue making progress. We still have the remainder of this year to accomplish some great things as we're coming out of this pandemic experience. We still have a remainder of this year. A little less than 7.5 months to really take the momentum that we've identified and maximize that momentum. Just continue to accomplish what God has purposed for all of our lives. Now, I didn't get that far with my son because it was a short exchange, just him touching base and me responding, because it's important that we recognize that God has a moment of favor for each and every one of us in every single day. We have to find that moment and continue pushing forward in that momentum, with that momentum, because momentum is everything. That moment of God's favor is everything in our lives. And what we should all want is to maximize our success, experience the fullness of God, and maximize the fullness of God in all of our lives. That has to be the goal for each and every one of us. And the way that we do that is by becoming the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become, and working diligently in every facet of our lives. Now, I realize that we're all one person, and we only have so many hours in every day, and there's only so much that we can accomplish in every single day. But the goal is to accomplish everything that we can accomplish in every single day. Wasting no time, letting no time be wasted. We want to make certain that we experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Under Armour Golf, which now powers the Junior League. The Under Armour Junior League, a national league for boys and girls ages 6 through 18 of all skill levels. Under Armour is advancing the game of golf for all children. And let me say this, with Under Armour Golf as one of our sponsors for 3D during the months of May through the early part of September, one of the things that we are really focused on is making certain that students have the opportunity to enjoy the game of golf. The game of golf builds character, it teaches integrity, it teaches us networking skills. The reason that golf is such an important game is that there's a STEM component to the game of golf that will cause our cognitive skills to be improved, among other things. But one thing about golf is that, and this is the secret that no one has probably told, but the game of golf is an opportunity to explore business at another level. And the reason is because you're never going to get 4 to 4.5 hours of FaceTime with anyone related to business without the game of golf. And that's the reason that golf has been used over the decades to do more business than any boardroom in America. Because for 4 to 4.5 hours, you have individual one-on-one FaceTime with perhaps one other person or even 3 other people if it's a foursome. The game of golf is important in so many aspects, and Under Armour Golf has committed to advance the game of golf for all children. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been running at a pace that is not sustainable for a long period of time. You need to slow down, however, you do not know how you would accomplish that and get everything done that needs to be done. So, let me say this to you. The first thing you're going to have to learn to do is pace yourself. You're going to have to pause first I'm not asking you to take a long pause, but you're going to need to take a pause. And you're going to need to recalibrate. You're going to need to pause and examine everything in your life. Just take 2 hours and don't respond to phone calls, don't respond to emails. For 2 hours, examine everything in your life, both personally and professionally, and write down what you can do to slow down. How can you make changes that will slow your life down? And you know what's really interesting? You can tell someone who is all over the place, I'll use that analogy, by how often they misplace things, how often they lose things. You can tell how much someone is all over the place just by those simple little things. Now, another thing that I often use the analogy, there's a lot of ways to identify what challenges you face in your behavior by the things you do on a daily basis. So you need to write those things down. You know, are you misplacing things? I use that as an example. Are you losing things? I use that as an example. Do you find yourself being distracted and wasting time? Write that down. Because what's going to happen is while you're doing that, that's the pause you're going to take. And then you're going to have to slow down. You're going to have to really pace yourself. You can't run. So I'm a runner. And I know that I run at a specific pace. Now, if I'm trying to do some type of additional training, I might change that pace. But for me, because I'm a distance runner, I am going to pace myself. And I know what that pace is going to look like. And I'm going to run that pace and only that pace. And I'm going to keep my body in rhythm while I'm running that pace. I'm not going to try to run a 5-minute mile when I know that I've got 10 miles to run. I'm just not going to do that. I know exactly how long it's going to take me to run 10 miles. And I'm going to allow my body to get in that rhythm, and I'm going to stay on that pace. You can't run a 5-minute mile if your body has not been trained to run a 5-minute mile. You can't try to do all of the things you're doing for you and everyone else when you're not equipped to do that. Pardon me. As I said, my allergies are bothering me today. And what I mean by that is you can't live your life and help other people live their lives. You might be able to give them some guidance along the way. You might be able to give them some instruction along the way, but you can't help them live their lives while you're trying to live your best life. So you're going to have to make some decisions to slow down your life, pace yourself, so that you can have your best quality of life. Pardon me, you're trying to improve the quality of life for family members who really feel that they're living the way they choose to live. And you're going to have to learn to allow them to live it. Anything else is going to disrupt the quality of your life. Slow your pace down and allow yourself to breathe so that you get into rhythm while you're running your race. 3D, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast is brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, thank you again for allowing us to be in your viewing environment. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And most of all, may you have perfect peace. For the remainder of this day, we're in the middle of the week. Well, actually, yes, we are known as Hump Day. So we're in the middle of the week. Let's make certain that we maximize